Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles UTROM. This is one of the Eastman and Laird Mirage comic designs. It is not a signature series. I don't think there is a signature version of this guy. Maybe there is, but this is not this one. They sent me these for review. Almost all my NECA stuff is review samples. Anything that's not a review sample, I buy on my own. So anyway, you guys know at this point I'm not going to say something nice just because it's a review sample. I've trashed all kinds of review samples. Anyway, this one's actually one of the cooler looking figures I've reviewed in a long time. I love the paint job on it. I absolutely love it. This comic style paint job, it's incredible. I have a huge problem with it, but I think it's incredible. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we get into anything else, I'll just address the problem, and you guys might be able to tell while looking at the artwork what my problem is. This is an incredible paint job, but it doesn't look like that. This is gray and white and black. This is blue. This has like a very chrome look. This does not. So I don't know what they're going for. The images on the back, it matches the figure for they match the figure for the most part. So it's not like there's a production error. It's just a design choice. Maybe it's just because it looks incredible. It's a little bit of artistic license. That's fine, but it definitely doesn't have the exact same type of look as the source that they have provided. That's my big problem. I do think it's incredible looking though, so we'll just go from there. All right, this guy stands to the top of his head about 6 5/8, and that's going to make him just about 17 centimeters. Here he is up against good old Darwin. Darwin's a little bit shorter, so he's about 1.1 Darwins. I think that's about right. Darwin could stand up a little straighter, I guess. He's collecting so much power over these last few days that it's starting to weigh on him a little bit. Ethically. Yeah, he's about 1.1 Darwins. Okay, so let's do a quick question of the day. How big of a comic fan are you when it comes to the Turtles? Which fiction do you think is the best for them? The comics, the cartoons, the live action? Which version of the cartoons? I don't know. I think most people got introduced to the Turtles with the old goofy cartoon. That was mine. That's how I got into the Turtles as a little kid. But for me, it's really the live action's my favorite version. And then the more I learn about the comics, the more serious comics, the more I like those. Some of them are just super goofy, but I like the comics. Like, they're pretty dark and gritty for being about Ninja Turtles, so I like those. Okay, so let's talk about the aesthetics. Like I said, paint job on this guy, it's awesome. It's a very stylized look. They made him blue, like a light sky blue, kind of like a robin's egg blue. Then they put these white and black lines, so the white like chrome reflections, black line work to make it look like the comic, but then they also sprayed gray. So it's across the top of the chest, it's in the shoulders, it's down around the legs. It gives a very, very cool look. I think it could have maybe used a little bit more on the head. We do have some here, but maybe some around here. I don't know. They have it on the front. I think it's highly effective at looking awesome. And then they did spray the eyes also so that it looks like they're glowing. They nailed it. That is the perfect amount of spray to make the eyes look like they're glowing and not just sprayed yellow. So that is wonderful. And then all the detail work, all the black line work, that's super clean, looks great. The gray for the thighs, and it's in other places too around the torso. With the black line work, it looks incredible. And then the actual UTROM himself, which is the same thing as Krang, or Krang is an UTROM. Very, very nicely detailed. I love the wash. I love the black line work, the very vibrant eyes and teeth. It looks incredible. I love the way this figure looks. The sculpt is sharp. The paint job is really nice, even continued onto the back. Very, very pleased with this. 9.9 out of 10 for the aesthetic. Or 7, because if it's not accurate and then that makes people not like it, then that's reasonable, so that's why it would be a 7. If you don't care about the accuracy, then it is almost as good a paint job, as good as sculpt, as good as everything as you can get for a produced figure like this at this price point. It is really, really well done. I love it. Now, as far as accessories go, I guess you could count the UTROM if you wanted to, but I won't, because he's like the main thing is just a robotic body, as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong with my fiction, I guess, but I don't think so. We have an alternate head where he's damaged. You can see his head's kind of blown open and his eyeballs hanging out. That's very nicely done. I like that a whole bunch. We have the 2 fist hands that come on in the package, then we get a couple of separate gripping hands, couple different sets, whether they're just gripping or trigger finger hands. So then you also get a couple of tools, which are very nicely detailed. I love that. And then his blaster, which is also very nicely detailed. And then in what looks like a drink. With no way for him to hold it, really. So I don't know what that's about. You guys can let me know if you know. But either way, that's a pretty cool spread of accessories. I'm very pleased with it. I'll go 9 out of 10. No, you know what? I'm going to go 8 because I would like an alternate UTROM with a different expression on his face. I think that'd be pretty cool. That's probably asking too much, but that's okay. It's still an 8 out of 10. Let's talk about the articulation. The head moves around pretty nicely. It's on a double ball peg, so it leans side to side nicely. Full rotation, up and down. It's enough. It's not a ton, but it'll do. So that's okay. The shoulders have full rotation this way. And then the hinge, very limited by the sculpt. Again, I think it'll do given the character, but they could have probably squeaked out a little more if they wanted to sacrifice some of the aesthetic. That's not really NECA's thing for these kind of lines. You do get a bicep swivel that's hidden very nicely, so I like that. Single jointed elbow, which is actually carefully and thoughtfully designed to give you better than 90 degrees and to look good in both positions, fully extended or fully contracted, so that's nice. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. All the wrists have the horizontal hinge, so even the gun holding hand, not the vertical hinge, that's a bit of a bummer. There's a bit of a ball peg above the UTROM. Let's just take him out. You can kind of see it in there. Well, maybe you can't on camera. But he does have some articulation there. You do get rotation above there, so that's good. A little bit of lean. You get rotation at the waist also. So yeah, pretty much everything you would want he can do. He probably could have better range up here, but given that it would all have to be above the actual abs, it's very difficult to do that, so I think this is fine, because normally you would have the peg go down into where the UTROM is, and you can't do that here, so it's going to be limited, so that's reasonable. Now the hips are on ball sockets, so they're pretty limited. We'll start with the thigh swivel. It does have a thigh swivel, and the legs can go out to the side pretty far. The balls could be a lot tighter. He's got fairly loose balls. They're not fully floppy, but they are pretty loose, so be aware of that. And then going forward, very limited due to the shape of the diaper. You could flex it, but you're still not going to get that much. It's probably enough, but it's pretty limited still. So the knees are just like the elbows, single jointed knees, but very well thought out. You get a full 90 degrees. Not that you're going to use them a whole bunch because his thighs or his hips are pretty limited, but you do get that. And then lastly for the ankle, decent range going back and not much range going forward, and a solid, actually pretty good ankle rocker. So it's fine. It's not good articulation, but it's not bad. It's perfectly acceptable. You're not really going to be missing out on much, but you're not going to do anything dynamic either. So I'll give the articulation probably a 7, no, a 6. It still should be better. But to me it's justified, but it is not particularly good. The hips are very limited, and that's really what's going to hold it back. The rest is solid. I'll take the rest of it. But yeah, it's a gorgeous looking figure. I love this thing. It's going to look great on a shelf. Really, really stand out. Love the way it looks. The paint job is just phenomenal. The sculpt is really good. The juxtaposition of the robot body with the orangish pinkish UTROM in there looks wonderful. Sculpt is great, paint's great, accessories great, articulation lacking. That's expected. I think it's justifiable. You can decide for yourself how you care about that. But for me, this guy's going to get a final rating of 9.5 out of 10. I'm willing to look past the articulation given how good it looks. This paint job it's really something to see. So if you can track one down, I really, really recommend it. It's a really nice looking figure. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, a thumbs down is fine. And if you haven't subscribed, you really should. I have new videos every single day but Wednesday, and sometimes even Wednesday. And I have thousands, over 4,000, I don't know, maybe we're close to 5,000 by now, reviews and other videos already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.